So if meaning helps make intent clear, organization helps make structure clear. So organization is about helping learners understand where they are, what matters, what comes next. So let's begin with a simple comparison. Both examples that I'm going to show you in the left and right columns contain the same information. And the difference is not the content itself, the difference is how that content is organized. So in the left column, we have information presented as a single paragraph. Let's take the same information and really emphasize organization. So on the right column now, we have the same information, but it's been grouped into meaningful sections using headings and a clear sequence. So now the learners can quickly identify what this week's topic is, what they need to do before class, what activity they need to complete, and where to find additional resources. So the organized version doesn't add information, instead it makes the structure of the information more visible. So it supports less searching and more learning. So what does organization facilitate? Organization is not simply about formatting or appearance. Again, it's to help learners find information, understand the relationship between the ideas, and follow a sequence through learning materials and activity. So one way to think about organization is through the different kinds of supports it provides learners. First, organization helps learners find information. Learners need to be able to locate resources, navigate content, and identify key details without spending unnecessary time searching. Second, organization helps learners understand relationships. So clear structure can help distinguish main ideas from supporting details, show how concepts connect, and signal what is most important. And third, organization helps learners follow a sequence. So learners benefit from knowing where to start, what comes next, and how different activities or resources fit together. And then when these elements are visible and predictable, learners can then spend less effort navigating and more effort engaging with the content itself. The good news is that improving organization often involves very small design decisions that can be applied across many different types of course materials. So how to improve organization? So what I've done is I've taken our earlier example and I wanted to sort of break down some of the design choices that make the organized version easier to navigate. So first, we have headings that help identify sections and signal what information belongs together. Next, we use chunking and lists to break information into smaller, more manageable pieces. So rather than reading a full paragraph, your learners can quickly scan for the information they need. And white space also plays an important role. And the spacing between sections helps separate ideas and make the overall structure easier to see. We can also use emphasis strategically. In this example, the deadline stands out visually, helping learners identify an important detail without needing to reread the entire page. Finally, organization can communicate sequence. So the progression from prepare to apply to resources help learners understand where to start and what comes next. And none of these strategies are particularly complex on its own, but together they can make the structure of the content much more visible. So here are a few practical strategies that you can possibly apply to your own materials. First, use built-in heading styles and organize heading levels in a logical order. This helps both learners and anyone using assistive technologies understand the structure of a document or page. Second, think about content structure. So breaking information into smaller sections and using true lists can make content easier to scan and process. Third, consider visual organization. So intentionally using white spaces and selective emphasis can help learners identify important information without overwhelming them. And finally, think about navigation and sequence. So brief page or module overviews can help learners understand where they are, where to start, what comes next. So our big takeaways for today. First, less searching, more learning. When course materials are organized clearly, learners can spend less time looking for information and more time focusing on learning, participation, and engagement. Second, make structure obvious. Headings, chunking, lists, White spaces, emphasis, and sequencing all help the structure of information become more visible to your learners. And then third, show learners where to start and what comes next. So clear organization helps learners understand how information, activities, and resources fit together, which can then make expectation, priorities, and next steps easier to identify.